a great apple pie at the Christmas party.
Hey, that was.
So we know he's a good chef, and so please give your time over to Farouche. Thank you.
What is remembering is the apple pie.
Well, I had no expectations, so.
There you go.
Just like you.
Exactly, right, Eric? Alright, so my name is Farouche, and I'm the founder of realfoodismedicine.com, and I provide healthy lifestyle solutions for busy professionals like you, so you can achieve permanent weight loss, great health, great energy, without dieting or feeling deprived. So, why real food? Well, I think, in my opinion, real food is the only product on earth that has a proven track record that is centuries old. Simple as that. We've had it on earth since we've had human beings on earth. So, I've noticed that not many of you really paid attention to the menu suggestion. So I guess, no expectations, right? Yep, put down the bread, let's see who's put it down. Nobody, all right, moving on.
No bread over here.
That's over here.
That made me head too.
See, that's the reason why I work with ladies mostly, because they follow the rules. The men don't bother. Anyway, there you go, moving on. Alright, being a group of successful thinkers, how many of you really believe that there is such thing as overnight success?
No.
Overnight success. Can you do it? Alright, there's one. So, how many of you believe that there is actually a price to be paid for success? What about the price of failure, or the cost of failure? Which one is higher, the price of success, or the cost of failure? Good, we're on the same page right here so far.
Well,
So, oh, that's this page, yeah.
yeah.
I'm moving on now. So what does the whole success or business success in general has to do with health? Well, the reality is, your body is your business. If you don't maintain it, you'll be out of business very soon.
Yes,
Right?
true. This is very
That's all you
true.
gotta do. So you really have to choose success, pay it forward now, or pay the price of failure later on. And generally we know how the price of failure on health is. We don't want to go that route, right?
No.
So, and we don't want to be out of business, that's for sure. So, what can we do? Again, your health is your business. And just like your business, there's no magic pill. There's no overnight success. The problem that we have all the time, people come in, they get disappointed for a week when they stop losing weight or they're not where they want to be, is that they can't succeed overnight. Like, you can't really get to that point if it took you 50 years, 20 years, 30 years to get to where you are and really change overnight and be where you want to be within a couple days or a couple hours. So the question that I get really asked a lot is, what can you do to get there? Or what should I do? Most people go like, okay, what should I eat? What should I stop eating? Well, again, going back to real food. Real food is medicine. Convenience food, believe it or not, is a slow killing poison. I think you could track down any chart you want since the 70s when they the TV dinner, or 60s, 70s, the convenience food,
Maybe
the TV dinners. And you can track all the disease, the cardiovascular disease, diabetes, obesity. It correlates with the increase of the sales of the convenience foods. So, and I believe that that's what's causing us most of the issues today. Health issues, neurological issues, psychological issues, and we'll get into it a little more in detail later on, but ultimately food is really information to your body. Yeah, you get to choose what kind of information you want to send to your body. You want to send inflammatory information or anti-inflammatory information. You want to send repairing signals to your cells, or you want to add more pressure to your cells, almost adding more fire or more fuel to the fire. So you get to choose. It's your choice. So as far as basically the question that I get asked all the time is, what should we eat, what should we not eat? I sum it up in one kind of 4-letter word. cut the crap out. So the crap is an acronym actually. That stands for. So the C stands for carbohydrates, carbonated beverages, colorings, food colorings, and corn syrup. Ultimately, they all convert into sugar. Ultimately, they all affect on your insulin, and we know what higher levels of insulin does to the body. But I think the biggest offender is really the corn syrup, where your body, your brain does not actually perceive it as sugar, and it really goes straight to your liver, and that's what most of the time causes non-alcoholic fatty liver. So, and again, you'll find it everywhere, plus it's addictive. Manufacturers learned that, and they know it, so that's why you'll find pretty much high fructose corn syrup in everything. Tomato sauce, I went to culinary schools, I learned that there's need for sugar in tomato sauce, or in dressings, or in pasta, or in any sauce for that matter. But in here, if you read any labels, you'll find that there's some sugar, some sort of sugar in there. In fact, manufacturers became very, very aware of the fact that most people are reading labels, so now they don't actually label it as sugar. They put it as dehydrated cane syrup, or so many different other names to it, but if you break it down, it's all sugar. The R again goes back to sugar, so sugar is really the biggest cause of most disease if you look at it. It doesn't matter what shape or form or what it's made from. It doesn't matter if it's rice syrup, corn syrup. It doesn't matter if it's agave nectar. I think that's the biggest marketing, what you call it? Myth and marketing.
Genius on their part.
Misconception, I guess. Because really, agave ultimately is really sugar, and it's nothing to do with health or being healthier than sugar. Their claim is basically has a little more fiber in it, so ultimately it really digests a little slowly, slower than regular sugar, but throughout the process, all the fiber is really removed, so you're really getting sugar, nothing else.
Can you get natural agave and, you know?
Unless you're chewing on it.
Yeah, but I know there are some drinks that claim they have natural agave syrup.
Again, if it's syrup, it's processed, and all the benefits of it have been removed. So ultimately, you're back to sugar. And just like drinking fruit juice, you're stripping all the fiber out of it, you end up with just a bunch of sugar in it. Yeah, they might add some more vitamins to it, but ultimately the sugar amount is so much higher that you're getting more sugars out of it than any of the benefits of it. The A stands for artificial sweeteners, back again to sweeteners. And then additives, they're all chemicals. Your body is not built to process chemicals. We haven't evolved since day one as much to be able to process chemicals. We're not equipped for it. So ultimately all the chemicals will end up affecting on your hormonal symphony, disrupting communication between your cells, between your body, between your organs, and basically creating a bunch of disease. I was reading a couple days ago that now we know about colorings. Studies show that most of the colorings, they're the main cause of cancers, depending on which one it is. Behavioral issues with children, with the ADHD and all that, the color, especially mostly you find them in candies that are given for kids, for children. So guess what, we're getting them going. We're creating disease from day one. And the P basically encapsulates everything else because that's what has everything, processed foods and preservatives. Pretty much it has everything in one in the processed foods. You get all the chemicals, you get all the carbs, you might get some meat in there somewhere, if it's a sausage or a hot dog, and probably chances are it's bleached, which is basically a pink slime, that's what it is. It's just bleached leftovers. I won't go into it too much. I won't go too much into it. That's still visual. I gotta get to stop eating it, so somehow I have to do it, right? So ultimately, Not to mention they add sugar, not to mention they add gluten, because manufacturers again realize that sugar affects on your brain just as badly as cocaine does.
Yes, it does.
It lights up your pleasure center in your brain, just as much as cocaine does. And guess what? One is illegal, one is perfectly legal, and is targeted for your kids.
Yep.
No wonder the predictions now for our future kids are, their lifespan is 10 years shorter than that's going to be, that's of ours. So the kids are going to live 10 years shorter than us.
And more
With the way we're,
miserable.
and what?
And more miserable.
That's part of it. So what does the whole, the crap category have to do, or all these food categories have to do together? It's all, they all cause inflammation. Inflammation, if you ask anybody, any doctor, really will tell you that's the root cause for most disease. Oxidative damage, same way, and glycation as well, which ultimately, it will cause more advanced aging. We could obviously go hours and talking about each one of them, but we're not going to go into it. What they cause is they really cause disruption of the hormonal communication, disruption in the communication between your cells. They destruct cells. They also cause vital disease and ultimately premature death. So therefore, food really matters. So you have to be very careful what you put in your mouth. Everything at the end of your fork really matters. You have a choice to send positive information or negative information to yourself, to your cells, to your DNA, to your, you could even switch your genetic predisposition through food. So I know I give you a bunch of stuff that you can't eat, but this is stuff you can actually eat. Right? That goes back to food. Another acronym. The food, really, the F stands for fiber and fat. Fiber from organic vegetables and some fruits. Again, there's this misconception that you gotta eat a lot of fruits is good for you. Yes, to some extent it is good for you if you eat the whole fruit. That's organic. That you're not eliminating the fiber, that you're not just juicing it, that you're not eliminating all the nutrients from it, and it's not loaded with pesticides and chemicals. I know that's pretty much a sensitive subject in the valley, but ultimately that's the reality, right? Fats. For years we've heard about fat being bad for you, fat being the cause of all cardiovascular disease, fat being the cause of so many different cholesterol and all that stuff. The reality is saturated fat is what we actually need in our body. If you think about it, your brain is 60% fat. So if you cut the fat out of your diet, guess what you're doing to your brain?
That would be bad.
So, good sources of fat. Coconut oil, avocados, the great source of fat, olive oil, macadamia oil. It's probably the best one to use. It's becoming much more popular now. It's probably not as much as available as we want it to be yet, but it will get there.
Is grapeseed oil on that?
Grapeseed is really good also, avocado oil also. You want to be careful, not to mention, you want to be very careful with vegetable oils. They're actually inflammatory oils. They're not as good as they used to be, as we were told. Again, going through the processing process, all the nutrients are being depleted. With the heating and all that stuff, there's nothing left to them except a bunch of anti-inflammatory omega-6s. So you want to be careful with those as well. The O stands for organic meats. Lean as possible whenever you can, or you could go with grass-fed meats. Now we know that if the animal is being grass-fed 100%, they have actually omega-3 fatty acids in their fat, just like the one you'll find in the wild animals, in the wild fish. So, but it has to be 100% grass-fed, because some of them, what they do is they're grass-fed most of their life, but they're corn and grain-fed for the last 3 or 6 months of their life to fatten them up a little more. So ultimately, that kind of defeats the whole purpose of paying that high price for it, that you're paying for the grass-fed product, and you're getting, again, inflammatory products in your diet.
But if it's organic, it's not the point. I mean, they eliminate that possibility.
If it's organic and they're still fed grain-based products, they're still containing inflammatory products. So it's better than the factory farm rate, which is, they don't have any antibiotics, they are not fed chemicals, they're not fed arsenics to prevent disease. It's much better, but ultimately the grains are inflammatory for the animals, just like it is for us. In fact, cows cannot digest grains, but they're raised on grains because that fattens them up very quickly. However, for us, it creates inflammatory omega-6s. So the omega-6s and omega-3s, they're both essentials. But we want to keep it a balance between the two, 1-to-1 ratio. Now, in the States at least, and probably throughout the world, we have a ratio of about 40 times higher of omega-6 in our diet versus omega-3s. Our body makes inflammatory chemicals from omega-6 fatty acids and anti-inflammatory chemicals from omega-3 fatty acids. So we want to keep it fairly balanced. Again, grass-fed butter or butter from grass-fed animals contain a lot of omega-3 fatty acids. Wild-caught fish is another one. You don't want to go with factory farmed or farmed fish. Again, they're fed in a natural diet of grains and corn and soy. That's not what the salmon feeds on in nature. It doesn't go look for soy, for protein or whatever. In fact, if you look at it, if you fish up in the lakes where they dump the trout in, if you compare it to the wild-caught trout, their flesh is totally different color.
Yep.
To compromise for that, they actually add food additives in the salmon to make it pink again, or salmon color. Because of their diet does not consist their natural diet. So just imagine what we're eating.
It's like flamingos in the zoo.
There you go.
Pleasure.
And the simplest thing actually that we do the least of, drinking water. We don't drink enough water. I hear all kind of comments about it from my clients. I don't like it, I don't like the taste of it, I don't care about it, I just not used to it, I'm this and the other. If you don't like water or the flavor of it, just add there's some stevia, which is a good sugar substitute. They're actually flavored. So you could generate your own soda flavor or whatever flavor you want, vanilla or whatever you want to add some flavor. You want to keep it simple, just add some slices of lemon
So you say half your weight
in ounces
per day?
per day.
My
As a
goal
general
weight or my
rule.
regular weight?
What?
My goal weight or my regular weight?
Let's start with the regular and then we'll go to the goal weight.
Yeah, versus the one on a scale or one on my driver's license.
You know what? If you match the driver license, that probably will work fine compared to what we're doing now, so that's probably better still. So again, everything matters. If you follow these two, eliminating the carbs or the carbs, and then replacing those foods, you're already more than halfway through the battle.
I just had a quick question. In your experience, just how bad is the traditional grocery store vegetables and fruits? I mean, is it really just not good to be buying that stuff with the way it's produced?
Well,
Way
It's better than-
processed food.
exactly,
Yeah, oh
way
yeah,
better than processed
processed,
food.
but I mean,
If you can-
combined to, if you compare it to organic,
Well, if you can do organic, obviously that's much better. You have less chemicals in your body, less toxins in your body, the better your body will function. But if you don't have an option, that's better than having the juice. If you go to, if you Google the Dirty Dozen, environmental working group, .org, they have actually a list of the highest chemical or pesticides fruits and vegetables. If you avoid those and you go with organic, at least on those, you're much, much better than just avoiding it altogether or just going all chemical. If you can't afford to do organic, all 100%, at least avoid the Dirty Dozen, which is actually, it's a baker's dozen, so there's more than 12 in them. They change constantly.
I have a quick question for you. You're gonna eat sugar, you know, like in my coffee in the morning, I always put sugar. Is it better to use regular, you know, stevia sugar or whatever, regular sugar, or is it better to use the like stevia or yeah, the other ones? Which is better for you?
Definitely you want to go with either stevia or xylitol or any kind of the sugar alcohols. It doesn't have to do anything with alcohol, it's just the chemical composition resembles that of alcohol. It doesn't affect your body blood pressure or your body's sugar level.
Yeah.
It doesn't spike your insulin. So stevia is 100% plant-based. Xylitol is also 100% plant-based. You want to stay away from the xylitol that's made from corn, which is most likely genetically modified corn.
So
You
like
wanna go with the
the,
birch tree one.
what is, like Splenda
You
and
wanna stay with, again, that goes back to the part of the crop.
all of
The
those
additive or
or the,
preservatives, so the stevia, no, I'm sorry, not stevia, the pink, the blue, and the
the,
yellow,
yeah, all of those.
100% chemicals.
Okay, well, that's what I, yeah.
Yeah, basically, you're causing cancer to yourself, you're causing a bunch of disease to yourself, imbalances to your hormones. Some of those chemicals actually mimic hormones, the hormones in your body, but your body can't detect it, your immune system can't detect it, so you cause a bunch of havoc in your system.
How about the seasonings, like turmeric is, I use a lot of turmeric.
Turmeric actually has a lot of intestinal benefits, repair benefits, so yeah.
Cauliflower, like you can do.
As long as you are using them fresh, it's not 6 years old, as long as it's not a pre-made mix that has a bunch of sugar or other chemicals in them, and preservatives, you're good to go.
So best to buy it organic turmeric.
Or, well, whenever you can do organic, you're better off, regardless of what it is. But obviously, most people can't afford it, so the best you can do. Yeah.
I have a question about estrogen. What kind of things can I eat that would add estrogen to my body? Like even for my skin and all that other stuff.
Soy, from the food perspective,
But real soy, because 82% of soy is GMO.
GMO, so you want to go for the organic soy. And you might want to consult with a doc about that, so you have more specific targeted diet when it comes to estrogen and all that. So, all right. So again, just like in business, there's 7 essential seeds I think that are, some of them are really common in anything that has to do with business or life in general, but a couple of them are specific for the nutrition or the weight loss or the health in general. And I put them as 7 essential C's. The first one is commitment. If you're not committed in whatever it is, you failed already before you started. So, and in fact, I wouldn't work with clients unless they're committed. So, the second C is change. You have to be willing to change. Change your habits, change your style, change your routines, change your whatever you've been doing. If you don't, you can't expect to get different results doing the same old things, right? So that's it. So that's pretty simple. And ultimately, really creating conscious decision-making habits, making conscious actions. Ultimately, if you don't, you'll end up back in the same old track. Making a choice, sometimes it's really harder, going back to the choices, which is the next one. Really harder to make a different choice, choosing a vegetable over a bowl of pasta, or choosing to surf the internet versus spending half an hour at the gym, or going for a walk. Again, going back to commitment, you'll find any kind of excuse you want. It's sunny, it's too hot, it's too cold, it's raining, it's foggy, whatever, I can't go outside, or I can't do this. So you're gonna find any excuse you can possibly imagine for not doing it. So again, making smarter choices, they're really not as easier to make, perhaps, when it comes to the choices that are better for us. Just like in business, getting rejected from that phone call that you make, or doing the hard things that you don't want to do, doing the marketing or networking for those of us who are introverts, right? Don't want to do it, but ultimately that's that's gonna help you succeed. And the same thing with making choices. Standing up, and I've done calls from my clients going, oh, well, I just stood up in front of the fridge and opened up the fridge, and I stopped myself thinking, oh, well, I'm not really hungry. But it's a habit that they've developed over the years. They didn't need to eat, they weren't hungry, but they just did it because they were looking for food, because the habit, it became that routine, right? And which brings you down to convenience or the consistency. The minute you do things over and over and over, it becomes a routine, right? Somebody said, I don't know who, but you can't master something unless you repeat it 1,000 times. So that's the same thing with our health. Once you do it over and over, you'll basically, it becomes a second nature, you don't think about it.
So how do you deal with that when you open up the refrigerator door in the evening and that glow of the light comes and hits you in the face? How do
Take
you
out the
deal
bulb.
Exactly.
It won't burn your face anymore. Or fill it up with a bunch of greens,
with it? Greens?
right in your face so you can see that, that's what you're seeing. So, one of the biggest myths, counting calories. We know scientifically now that your body processes different calories differently. So the whole notion of counting calories is BS. You can't tell me that the 200 calories from an avocado is the same as 200 calories from a can of Coke. Your body's not gonna process the sugar the same way it's gonna process the proteins, the fiber, the fat, and all the other nutrients, the minerals from the avocado or anything that's more nutritious than a soda,
It's
right?
like the difference between gas and diesel. They
Or,
both burn, but at different rates, different temperatures.
and guess what, put it in the wrong engine, what you gonna end up with?
Not gonna work.
Put
Crabs?
crap in, you end up crap out, right?
Page 3.
And then really be willing to let go of convenience. And like I said earlier, convenience is what's really killing us, just slowly. You could put something in the microwave and get it done in 5 seconds, but guess what? You're nuking it. What's happening after that? You nuke everything out of it. What you're eating, blob of dead something.
Chewy.
Has nothing to do with you, no benefits, no nutrients, no minerals, there's nothing left to it at that point. But it's convenient, you got your meal done in 5 minutes. Instead of taking 5 seconds or 10 minutes, 15 minutes and really planning ahead or making your meals yourself. That will actually nourish your body. So ultimately, it's your body, it's your business, you gotta take care of it. You get to choose what you're gonna put in it. Send the right information or send the wrong information. It's your choice. Pay it now or pay for it later. So,
What about the teas?
cheese?
Teas.
TEA.
I was gonna say not sweetened.
But I mean in the microwave, it doesn't matter, right?
Well, water.
I don't know how to use a microwave, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay.
So, I don't use it. I boil my water even for the tea. I'm not sure it's gonna add too much. It's gonna kill it much. I mean, it's just water, but again, ultimately, I prefer not to have any chemicals or
Radiation.
radiation waves in my body. I think you get exposed to a bunch of chemicals as is. I don't want to have more. So, and ultimately, if you put the bag in it, so you're also killing the nutrients in the tea bag. So whatever benefits you're getting, you won't be getting anymore.
So what do you offer if I come to you and I have a problem with food and I want to get a lot of things clarified? Is there a meeting I can go to that you put on? Or
No, he comes to your house and takes out your bowl.
Breaks your microwave. Takes all the sugar out of your cupboard.
It depends how committed you are, actually. I will start from there.
Oh, okay.
It could be that you can do it yourself. It could do, I could come to your house and clean up everything for you, and we'll take you shopping, we'll do the whole 9 yards for you. Or you could just do an hour of coaching and we'll straighten it up for you. It all depends, but ultimately we'll start from knowing what your goal is, where you're starting, where you want to be. We'll start with about 20 pages of questionnaire that we'll have you fill up, and then we'll take it from there.
Are there acronyms on all 20 pages?
No, I keep it as specific as I can, so I get specific answers.
Just want to make sure.
You know,
Well, that entertained.
ask you shall receive, right?
It's entertaining, huh?
I was just gonna answer the question that was talked about, or asked over here about the vegetables and fruits in the store. There's organic stuff all over this town now. You don't have to go searching for it. There's farmers markets that are plentiful in the summertime. There's a few of them in the wintertime that are still there. Vons has a bunch of organic stuff, and so you can really, really find organic foods. And if you pick and choose and don't overindulge, it's not that much more expensive. It really isn't. So you can fit it into your budget fairly easy.
In fact, there was a study
Easy to find.
published last January. They did a study as far as in 3 different countries, in fact. The difference between conventional eating and healthy eating. There was $1.50 more a day, eating healthier or choosing healthier options. $1.50 a day.
Just anecdotal on your thing with eating healthier. I know when I go to the store with my wife and we buy more healthy things, we spend less money usually than if we're going and we're buying like microwave dinners and
You bet.
that kind of crap. So the reality, and you know, these people that are getting food stamps for this, oh, we can't afford to buy healthy foods. The reality is you can probably eat better and spend less money buying healthier things that you have to actually cook than things you're just going to throw in the microwave.
Not to mention the savings on the long run.
Yeah.
Doctor's bills, insurance, health insurance,
I just wanna add,
You're fine, go ahead.
Good.
I just wanna add a comment, it's almost like the same concept of the gym, right? When we go and work out, we're so conscious now that you work so hard that you're like, thank you, I can stay away from that, so you kind of minimize your intake, it's like, you know what, I'll buy the essentials, and so, rather than buying bulk of, because it's on sale, buy a bunch more, right? So now you buy what you need, that's what I'm getting at this.
But let's be careful what you buy, it's not in the crop list, it's on the food
Yeah,
list.
yeah, because now you have a focus, you can focus like, hey, this is the healthy, you may not have, you may have to go to the store 3 times a week just for the purpose of buying fresh veggies, but you schedule it like part of your day.
You have to plan for it.
Right, so.
The, just like the core values, we always talk about how they all intertwine and intermingle and become connected. I can see where this is too, along with the 7 Cs. If you're committed to doing this, all of a sudden it becomes a lot easier to get done. If you make a decision to do it, if you're cognizant and you're conscious of it, it becomes easy and the budget becomes able to be worked out and everything. It all starts with right there. If you decide to go down that path, if you make a decision, it becomes really, really easy.
Exactly.
We have to be reminded, that's why Frush is up here taking care of
You
it.
know, I had a time when I was a kid, my dad always had a vegetable garden, and he grew everything he could possibly grow. He always called himself a frustrated farmer. He was a lawyer who wanted to be a farmer. And so we had pepper plants growing underneath azalea bushes, and we had everywhere throughout the whole yard, plus a plot that was just garden. And then, when I moved out of the house and got away from it, I didn't eat very many fresh vegetables unless I was at my parents' house. And when I first got married, nothing, still didn't develop that habit, but soon after, it kind of hit me that gardening might be a good time, it would be fun. So I've had a vegetable garden now for about 30 years, I'd say, and I grow everything I can grow in 2 seasons, and I don't devote much more space than the size of, probably not even the size of these tables. It's in a walk-through area. Now I have one that's elevated, so I have to kneel down to the ground anymore. But I can walk down the middle and sit on the thing on the side. And for months of the year, we eat primarily those vegetables with a little bit of supplemented stuff from the store. You think that would be make a significant enough difference to make it?
Well, that plays a role in multiple levels. First, you're out.
And it's
You're kind of
fun.
stressing yourself.
Yeah.
It's fun, you have a good time with it, as long as you keep it chemicals free.
I don't put anything in there except topsoil.
That works.
That's right.
See, I'm composting here. My garden, I compost, and then I battle the bugs with other bugs. So I bought praying mantises, I bought ladybugs, and when I went down to the park and caught some lizards, so that's how I get rid of bugs. But it's talking on the sugar, I have several Sevia plants growing, and we'll just throw the sprigs in our tea or whatever.
Well, and kind of the reason why I asked was because to me, I would think regular sugar would be better for you than the Eagle or the Splendor or whatever. And my friends tell me that I'm just absolutely insane and that the other stuff is so much better for you because, so I just don't, I don't argue the point with them,
Have you
but I
ever
just
tried to study the leaf itself?
wanted to.
It's right off the plant, the fresh leaf right off the plant?
I didn't.
Sevia, you ever
I
tried it?
haven't.
No, I haven't.
You should
can
try
find
it,
it at
it's
farm
actually
market.
pinky sweet, a little sprig
Yeah.
will do
I've
a lot.
thought about trying, but they use a lot of the Splenda and stuff.
Yeah.
We have one more question right here.
I was saying, yeah, absolute fantastic job.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, very good.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic job.
One quick, actually a 2-part one for you. First one, coming from an ex-cop background, a lot of coffee. Is there a difference with like, you see the hill grown, the shade grown, the diffs grown, the that grown?
That's where the organics will come really handy. Because coffee is one of the highest herbicides or pesticide treated plants on the world.
Okay.
So if you consume a lot of it, you want to get organic on that.
And the other part is, do you know where you can find an organic donut shop?
But most people don't. With all the coffee that most people
I wanted to
drink.
comment that uplift commitment is kind of an intellectual sort of thing, but there's a heart thing that comes in there too, along with commitment, and it really comes down to self-love. Do we love and care about ourselves our health, our future, to make that commitment. Because that's a choice that, in my experience, doesn't come up to the conscious choice place, which I think is also one of your, an excellent C to have up there, the conscious choice. But to make a conscious choice, when we're gonna put out the effort to change, and to swim upstream against the convenience, there's effort involved in that, and there's an energy in that commitment to caring about ourselves that comes in real handy for being able to stay with the commitment. At least that's been my experience.
Absolutely.
I have to leave. I just wanted, do you have any literature or a website? Is there literature over there?
I have some brochures and business cards in there, there's a lot of information on my website.
For sure.
And if you sign up, you can get recipes that are free, that are healthy, that are mostly gluten and sugar-free.
Okay.
They're very easy to make.
My wife will appreciate
Yeah,
that.
yeah, just sign up and you get them, so I
In
can.
Germany, obviously. I'll have to tell my wife not to cook.
Smart
You
man.
guys can be used to my sense of humor.
All right,
Awesome, thank you.
guys, we're gonna wrap it up. It's 1 o'clock. So, again, thank you all for being here. Thanks, Farouche, for excellent presentation. Set some one-on-ones, bring some friends. We'll see you all next week. We'll be here.
Great job. Great job.